Hey folks, my guest today is Michael Barnett. He fell in love with communities when advising nonprofits on leadership and organizational development after working for members of the US Congress and the UK Parliament. Now he's building a platform that connects people and helps them bring more folks to causes, brands, and companies that they absolutely love. They found a product market fit with COVID and are experiencing explosive growth, 2x in the past 6 months. The company is called Ingo, INGO.me. Michael, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Great to be here, Nathan. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. Okay, so what are you selling and who's buying?
Great question. So, historically, before COVID, we were selling social registration to event organizers. So,
Okay.
you run New York Times Travel Show or the Army Show or the PGA Show, and you want more people to go. You drop us into your registration process. We get you to say, yeah, I want to see who else is going. We analyze your network and we say, Nathan, you should also invite these four people. Show gross 10, 20%. But it's once a year. COVID made that all illegal. Revenue went to zero, events went to zero, everything shut down, which was a horrible experience, terrifying. And then the best thing that's happened to us. Because what we realized is that COVID meant every brand needed more digital content, webinars, white papers, heck, the podcasts you do. And the world went from one webinar in industry a week to one an hour to one a minute. And with that, demand for audience blew up. And it meant that we had this really great opportunity to take what we had built, understanding relationships, suggesting the right people, showing you who was going, and turn that into a 365 experience around a brand and not just a single event. So now it's mostly big media companies, some corporates, and our legacy organizers buying us to create these communities and grow them.
And what are these bigger media brands? I mean, what are they paying on average per month to use the technology?
They're paying $1 a member, so per year. So, imagine subscriber a year, basically, if in the podcast world, would be what they're paying. And then what they're getting out of that is they're paying us $1, they're installing us into their website, and then what they get is 10, 20, 30, 40% growth. And the experience, I can talk a little bit to that experience. So, imagine if you're in your industry and instead
Well,
of
wait, hold
receiving
on, Michael.
spam.
Before we jump into that, just to make sure so
Yeah.
I understand. So, $1 per member per month, but I don't know like what size we're talking. If we're talking 1,000 members or 10,000 members or one member. So, is the average customer paying like 500, 600 bucks a month, something like that?
No, the average customer is paying, and it's per member per year. Sorry.
Okay.
But the average customer is at $20,000 a year and going up pretty
Okay.
quickly.
So you're very much in the higher mid market enterprise space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about big media companies like Fast or Wall Street Journal, or not all these are like New York Times or Daily Mail, right? Not all these are customers, but to give you a sample.
So are you, when I go to like one of these conference websites, the JavaScript plugin on the pricing page, it says, look at all your friends that are going, and it shows like the Twitter profile faces of everyone else that you know in your network that is also going or registered?
That will be, yes, that would be us for a lot of these. So in 2019, 1/5 of the biggest events in the world used us to do that. And then to say, here are the faces of the people you know, here are the faces of the people you should invite.
Interesting. Okay, take me back to day one. When did you launch the business?
2013, initially, we wanted to get rid of business cards. I'm sure you go to lots of events, you end up with these stacks of business cards. You never follow up with the right people, know who to follow up with, can find the right business card. Decided we were going to solve that problem. Met with lots of great leaders in the event space and found out it wasn't a problem they wanted to solve, we're going to pay for. So distribution became hard. Pivoted in late 2013 into the front end, which was these people do want to pay for getting more people to their events. So that was 2013. Did that, grew that all the way through 2019, 5 million attendees globally. And then basically had to restart the company in last year.
With COVID.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
Did you do all this bootstrapped or did you raise capital?
We raised about $2 million in 2015,
Okay.
And then became profitable, and now are quite profitable.
Mm-hmm. Why did you need to raise the 2 million back in 2015?
Initial idea, pivot, new idea, needed funding, needed scale, needed some go-to-market funding and product development.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me more about the team. Obviously, a lot of capital raised goes to building a great team. How many folks are on your team today?
There's 11 of us now, about half product, half sales and marketing.
And engineers, obviously, sometimes the most expensive. How many engineers are on the team of 11?
There's 4 engineers and a product manager.
How'd you decide to build that engineering team? So some folks will say, you know what, I want to outsource it, right? Cheaper labor overseas. But then some people say, listen, it's a core asset. I want to build it in-house and hire locally here in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah, we've done both, and had different people from different parts of the world. But the very first, especially when we were bootstrapping, was Upwork, find some people, keep the best, and keep rotating through that. Over time, we've found a firm that we really like, and it's all outsourced. But we interact with them like they're part of the team, and they've been with us for a while.
Do they just do the development, or do they do the design as well?
We've got a separate designer as well.
Okay.
That we just contract.
Okay, so contract designer, outsourced dev team of 4 allows you to scale up or scale down much faster and as needed, and avoid fixed expenses on your balance sheet, on your P&L.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, very cool. Would you recommend this dev shop? Are you open to sharing them?
Yeah, actually, I would, as long as they don't take our people and move them anywhere else. I mean, they won't. But Agile Engine, they've been absolutely fantastic.
Where are they based?
They've got a few offices. We use the one out of Ukraine. We found Eastern Europe really great for both communication and engineering quality.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So how many team members are there in Arlington?
One.
Okay.
We've got a couple in the UK, a couple in Austin, funny enough.
Nice.
Little intro. And then trying to think of where everybody is. It's all spread out.
Remote. So, yeah, fully remote.
Yeah, we had a whole office here in Arlington, and then with COVID, everybody kind of spread out. I mean, costs are pretty high here. So people got excited about other opportunities and had family in Austin and whatnot.
We heard about how you got your first couple of customers, and then obviously the pivot happened, and then obviously COVID, and then another pivot happened. But how many customers are you now serving today post-pivot?
There's about 80, we call them communities. We got about 80 communities in-house, and then we keep adding about one a week now, one a week, and it's getting faster too.
Where are you finding them?
They're finding us almost universally. Maybe we then nurture them after they find us initially, but typically they're seeing the word of mouth marketing we're creating on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook and clicking through, and it's a competitive event, let's say, and they go, oh, I want this on my event. And so they start following us, start getting interested, take a meeting, and then we get about 40% of the meetings we take close.
Oh, wow. Can you name, is there a conference page that's live right now that's using you?
Yeah, you could go to Fast, go to their event page, or Inc. and go to their event page.
Just
and
fast.com?
See us on there. Yeah, maybe it's fastco.com.
Fastco.com. I'm just curious what the UI looks like, because look, these events are going to, I think, come roaring back once folks put practices in to do it safely. Okay, I don't know. Fastco.com isn't anything. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see if I can.
Fastcompany.com.
Oh, fastcompany.com. Got it.
And Inc. Inc. is actually, go to inc.com and upcoming events. You'll see us in there.
I see. Okay, inc.com, upcoming events.
And so I agree. Physical events are going to come roaring back. We've already been crushing it with customers in Dubai, where they're starting to launch again. Going all the way back to November, actually, they had some pretty good results because they were way ahead on vaccines. Mm-hmm. But what we found, what was great for us was all the virtual side. So webinars, virtual events, podcasts, white papers. And the functionality we built was to go, you don't just want to acquire somebody once. You want to acquire them and keep them for a long time. And you want to get them to engage as often as possible. So for your own podcasts, imagine if every time people sign up for one of your podcasts, then one of their friends listens to the next podcast, they get a note saying, hey, great news. Michael just listened to this next podcast. Don't you want to listen to it also? So typically,
I was going to say, I'm on the Inc. events page, and under featured speakers where it says begin your registration, you're basically powering this whole registration thing, and the checkboxes that say, let people know I'm going to the event. You're then powering the social graph behind the scenes.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Very cool. Why hasn't Hopin or events.com or Bizzabo or Cvent tried to buy you?
Well, we've had a lot of reach out over the last few months. And so we've been growing quickly. and kind of holding off those conversations and also talking to funding sources as well. But we'll see what happens. I
What are
think
you
we
more
are a
likely to
nice
do?
fit for
Are
those
you more
companies.
likely to raise more capital and keep building product? Do you see a path to grow product, or are you more likely to take the sale now?
I think that there's a lot of product and a lot of growth opportunity. If you look at it as there's 700, we're mostly B2B.
Yep.
So 700 million professionals out there, getting them all to be members of Ingo and our customers, a few customers each, that's a huge addressable market. But the right offer, we could be, hop in, or somebody could probably afford us.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. If you went the raise path to keep doubling down, how much do you think you'd go target? How much would you raise?
We'd raise 5 million.
And why is that the right number?
That was the right number because it gets us to about 50 million of annual recurring, it gets us to about a $50 million valuation.
What do you think?
This isn't live. Sorry, that's not the right answer. Can I?
Well, that's okay. No, we can edit it. We can sort of talk through it. Okay. So you'd be raising 5 million to try and grow your valuation to 50?
No, I 5 million. I should go back and look at the numbers. 5 million gets us an additional here. So 5 million gets us an additional, give or take, 2,000 customers. That gets us to the place where we're generating about 25 million a month 25 million a year in revenue.
I see. And can I take the math? 80 customers today at that average ACV you told me of 20 grand. You're doing what, like 150 a month right now, 150 grand?
Getting there, close to that.
Okay. Can you break that this year, you think, or is that needing more time?
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to somewhere near 2 million.
That's great. And if you're sort of between, call it 100 grand, 150 grand a month right now in revenue, where were you a year ago? What's growth look like?
Well, honestly, in March of last year, we were at 0. So
you lost really everything.
Yeah, everything was physical events, and all of it went away. There was a moment in time, my CFO was awesome because my CFO, this guy, Scott, turned to me and said, "This is going to last for a long time. We got to redo the company." And I was like, "Please, events will be back in June, July. We'll be fine." And he was like, "No, you got to get ready." And then we had a couple board members who were great too, and like, "No, you got to get ready for a long haul." And thankfully, we did. We pivoted hard. Funny enough, I don't know how much of this story you guys want. Our first customers were awesome. We launched an event on virtual events in April, like 3rd of last year. And we emailed out, got 200 people. Those 200 people used Ingo and got us another 4,000 people to go to our event. And so all of those people saw Ingo. All of those people experienced it. All of them were like, I got to have that for mine. The only thing that actually, the limiting factor, funny enough, was those initial integrations with the hop-ins and all of the new virtual platforms, which we built and now we can do. But yeah, that's how we got that initial burst. And still how we get a lot of them.
Yeah, when you raised that 2 million in 2015, I assume that's probably a note. What cap did you use?
What was that?
What cap did you use for the 2 million raised in 2015?
I'd have to go and look.
I guess the reason I'm asking that question is, do you feel like the business is now recovered to the point where you could go do a raise at a higher valuation than what the cap was in 2015?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we couldn't get a substantially higher valuation given the multiples out there too. You got two things, right? The growth rate plus the marketplace plus a higher revenue baseline.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay, let's wrap up, Mike, with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
Ooh, Measure What Matters.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
That's a really great question. I don't want to give the cliche Musk because everybody does it. Actually, you know who I do find most compelling that I think is, pretty popular, but not everybody? Warren Buffett. I think the analysis and his idea, he's got this quote about if everybody invested as if they had a date card or a dance card of 9 options and they invested, knowing that they only had 9 investments to make in their lifetime, they would do a lot better job. It resonates to like something Jobs did where he was like, well, we're only going to have 6 products, but they're going to be amazing. I think that same thing from Buffett of his analysis of exactly where to put your money. I think the same thing's true for time and same thing's true for a company. And it goes back to the Measure What Matters thing too. It's just that precision of thought process.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building the business besides your own?
Really good question. HubSpot.
Okay. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I get 6 or 7.
Okay, that's pretty good. In situation, married, single, kids?
Married, no kids yet.
No kids
Just,
yet.
married, second anniversary yesterday.
Oh, congratulations. How old are you, Michael?
37.
37. Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Everything. I wish that I knew to focus better when I was 20.
Guys, Ingo.me launched back in 2013, raised $2 million in 2015, lost almost all their revenue during COVID, but pivoted fast. Now they're doing between 100 grand and 150 grand a month in revenue, hoping to break a $2 million run rate by the end of this year. He's got all of his options on the table, works with about 80 event organizers to help them get more event attendees coming in via powering a social graph behind the registration. They're working again with 80 of those customers. They're profitable, so they can do whatever they want. Maybe they look at an exit to a hop in or something like that. Or Michael says they might go out and raise, $5 million to get 2,000 new customers. We'll see what happens. Michael, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.